So Fani Willis was running in a primary. She won with 83% of the vote in. She was considered the favorite in the race. She crushed the person challenging her. And now she's going to face Atlanta-based lawyer Courtney Kramer in the general, who is a Republican. First Republican to seek the office in more than 2 decades, inspired, no doubt, by Fani's ethical lapses. Then, by the way, Judge Scott McAfee won too, the judge who ruled on this case and who is trying the case ultimately against Trump down in Fulton County. He won with 83% of the votes in. Okay, so that's that. So Fani Willis, I guess, fresh off her big win, decides to give her first interview post her ethics scandal to Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow of MSNBC, which night after night lectures us on the importance of journalism. Journalism. That's why Trump is so bad. Trump is so bad because he attacks the press. And journalists matter. What they do matters. And asked zero difficult questions of Fani Willis. Here's a montage of the questions she did ask. You tell me whether we're going for Edward R. Murrow Awards here or not.
Let me start by asking you about what your life has been like and how things have changed over the course of this past year. I wondered what effect the sort of constant threat of violence that you've been living with has had on you and on your ability to do your work. Do you feel like you've changed over the course of this term in office in terms of having to develop new skills, new resources, develop a thicker skin than you might not have expected when you took this?
Oh my God. Nothing. Nothing about the odor of mendacity that the judge found lingered in the courtroom after her testimony and that of those supporting her. Nothing. Not a one. Tough question. I'll just give you one more, Rich, and then I'll give it to you. Here's a little bit about how Rachel Maddow got into it, setting Fani Willis up as really the unheard victim here, because no one is defending this poor woman. Watch.
They opened the floodgates on her in a way that is underappreciated in this country. They have created a maelstrom of political harassment and pressure, bringing it down to bear on this one prosecutor like a laser. And she is out there defending herself so ably. This story for all of us, this is not a profile in courage. This is a profile in cowardice. She's standing alone against all of this. These are human beings. They are not magic. They are not bulletproof. They are not superhuman.
Alvin Braggs and Jack Smith.
And right now, they have no one defending them as they are being asked to bear superhuman pressure and threat. And it is working. And there has been no significant countervailing pressure defending them. And the history that we are making is that there's no one defending Fani Willis but herself.
Oh my God. Who will defend them? The prosecutors with all of the power? Why? Remind me again, Rich, why was it that Fani Willis was so evilly targeted by so many? Was that what happened there?
Yeah, where did that come from? She I don't know whether it was this interview or a press conference, but Fani Willis was saying, all of a sudden there's this oversight committee, that's looking into me and other prosecutors. It must be because they're now, black DAs in Georgia. It's because she was frankly corrupt and unethical and hiring her boyfriend to be her special prosecutor. And this interview was ridiculous. Oprah would have done a tougher interview with Fani Willis. And we were talking about Bill Maher earlier. Bill Maher is interesting. He's sort of changing as we go along. He's a thinking person. Rachel Maddow is the worst, right? She's utterly predictable, total conspiracy theorist during the whole Russia hoax. But the mainstream media treats her like she's, the gold standard, right? I think only Eric Wimple, the lonely media writer at the Washington Post, ever called Rachel Maddow on any of her conspiracy theories during Russiagate. So this is what you get. This is what you expect. MSNBC is a network entirely devoted to boosting these prosecutions. Lawrence O'Donnell, the way he describes Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen as these
like a nun,
upstanding, inspiring people, it's ridiculous.
I hate to see what his Saturday night looks like. So, Charles, this brings me to the promised moment that we mentioned an hour ago, holding on to the left's obsession with the norms and just their complete blindness to what they are doing, how we got to this place. Like here, what? What has Fani Willis ever done to anyone? Why would they investigate her? This is so wrong. By the way, we're told that committee, which is at the state Senate in Georgia investigating Fani Willis's behavior here now, originally was the Democrats' idea that they wanted to push after Ahmaud Arbery was killed. And they weren't satisfied with the prosecutor's response. So this actually wasn't originally about black prosecutors. It was about white prosecutors at that point. Only now have they taken a look at her, who she happens to be black, because of her ethical lapses, which have the odor of mendacity, according to the judge trying the case. But here is just a little taste, Charles, of Maddow and her indignation from this same monologue, different sound bites than you just heard, about what these evil Republicans are doing. Watch this.
Republicans in the state legislature decided that for the first time in the history of that state, they needed to give themselves a new power. They needed to give themselves the power to remove prosecutors. They have created a maelstrom of political harassment and pressure, bringing it down to bear on this one prosecutor like a laser. Because she brought this case against someone of their party, this is Republicans using their political power to try to shut off the legal system, to try to shut off the rule of law here so it cannot be used against their guy, against Trump. They are taking apart the judicial system. They are fundamentally changing the judiciary in the state, in the entire state, all to protect this one powerful defendant in their own party.
It sound familiar? Does that sound like anybody you know over the past year and a half?
I mean, it's a great glimpse into the Maddow extended universe. Chris Hayes is also a narrator of this great fiction. I love her analogies, by the way. I think you played it twice, or she said it twice, but she kept using as her analogy of great heavy pressure a laser, which is not heavy, it's light. She also seems to think that the prosecutor is the judiciary. This is why I don't watch MSNBC, Megyn, because it is a parallel universe. It is a amusement park of nonsense. And that segment was extremely heavy on dudgeon and indignation and extremely light on anything that comports with reality. And if she and Chris Hayes and others presented themselves as entertainment or as a sort of partisan feel-good provider, that would be fine. This country has a long history of partisan journalism, much of which, 100 years ago especially, was awful. But when you combine that with, as you referred to at the beginning of the segment, this saccharine, self-indulgent, self-congratulatory pretense that Rachel Maddow and her confreres are speaking up for the sanctity of journalism and American law, it becomes truly revolting. And again, I don't know what Bill Maher thinks or doesn't think. He is interesting and smart. I've always got on well with him. But you see in that segment why so many people on the left who consume MSNBC every day don't know anything about America. I'm not blind to the fact this exists on the right as well. We can list the locations that provide the same service. But I have been amazed in my work at the sheer number of otherwise intelligent people who just don't know what's happening in the United States, who are shocked, as you showed that in that Bill Maher clip, when you tell them that Hillary Clinton used the word illegitimate. who are amazed when this case or that case doesn't go the way they wanted. It's not a political trial necessarily, but the Rittenhouse trial was a good example of this. The parallel set of facts that I kept reading in the New York Times that had nothing to do with what that case actually, which was televised, by the way. Anyone could watch it.
By the way, Charles, Bill also told me that cops died, that number of cops died on January 6th.
Oh, yeah.
Cops died. 10,000 African Americans are shot by cops every year. Is the median? There was a poll done that showed that the registered Democrats who watched MSNBC's conception of how deadly COVID was like off by a factor of 400.
And just quickly, Rich, he also told me that Michael Cohen went to jail for 3 years for campaign finance violations. We know that's not true, which I corrected. He also said that Trump's immigration numbers have been about the same as Joe Biden's. I mean, true. He said all those things.
One of the most disturbing things to go back to the Alvin Bragg case, there's some significant chance that Judge Merchan is a Rachel Maddow viewer, right?
Grand Canyon University, a private Christian university in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, believes in equal opportunity and that the American dream starts with purpose. Change the world for good by putting others before yourself. Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree, GCU's online, on-campus, and hybrid learning environments are designed to help you achieve your unique academic, personal, and professional goals. With over 330 academic programs as of September, GCU meets you where you are and provides a path to help you fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Let it flourish. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.